In this video, we will discuss the income consumption curve, which is also known as the income expansion curve. The central question that we want to answer in this video is how the consumption choice changes when income changes. And so far we have only analyzed this for a one-off change in income. Now we want to do this more systematically by drawing a curve that connects all the optimal consumption points when we have increases in income while the prices remain constant. And that means we construct now an expansion path that shows how consumption expands when income expands. To this end, we again look at the graph where we have on the horizontal axis consumption of good x1 and on the vertical axis consumption of good x2. The prices of both are fixed, so the budget line always has the slope of this budget line that we have here. And the red line is again the indifference curve that reflects the consumer preferences, and the optimal consumption point is where the budget line is attentioned to the indifference curve. So we now increase income, which means that there is a parallel shift of the budget line outwards. The set of feasible consumption bundles for the given budget increases. So previously it was this small triangle here, now it is the larger triangle. And that means that also the optimal consumption point shifts outwards. So the point where the budget line is tangent to the indifference curve now goes hand in hand with higher consumption of good 1 and higher consumption of good 2. So these two goods are normal goods. We can continue to do this and increase the income level further so that we would have another budget line and again higher consumption of good x1 and higher consumption of good x2 and so on and so forth. So we can do this for all the different income levels we can imagine. And then we can connect all these points, these optimal consumption bundles for the different income levels that we've analyzed. And if we connect these points, which is the black line that we have here, then this resulting curve is the income consumption curve or the income expansion curve. This curve shows how the consumption of the two goods changes when income changes, and here, since x1 and x2 are both normal goods, it will have a positive slope and both goods will increase in terms of their level of consumption when income increases. However, it could also be that one of the two goods is an inferior good, then the income consumption curve could be bending backwards, basically. And as before with the price consumption curve, we can connect the income consumption curve to the demand curve. So we have here in the upper diagram, the diagram that we had on the previous slide, so this one here. And now for each of the points, of the optimal consumption points, we can draw another diagram below where we draw the demand curves. And each of these points would be on a different demand curve because an increase in income shifts the demand curve outwards. So for any given price, if we have more income, we would demand more of the different goods if these goods are normal. So that means that if income increases, the demand curve shifts outwards. So we have the demand curve for low income, we have the demand curve for middle income and the demand curve for high income, and it is all reflected as an increase of the demand curve, so a rightward shift of these demand curves. And that's the difference to the price income curve, where the price income curve led to points along the demand curve. So if the price increases, we would move along the demand curve to a lower consumption level. But if income changes, it is a shift of the curve. So for any given price, the demand level changes. So we can summarize the insights of this video and the key points. The income consumption curve or the income expansion curve depicts optimal consumption bundles for an increasing income, and it connects them. So it's a curve that for normal goods shifts upwards. Because for normal goods, higher income leads to higher consumption. And the changes in income, if we connect it to the demand curve, means that we have a shift in the demand curve, not a movement along the demand curve as we would have it when the price changes, as it did in the price income curve in the previous video. So therefore, the income consumption curve provides us with another crucial link between consumer choice and demand, the demand function as such.